In this overview of the Aboriginal Consultation Office's digital service, we're going to be looking at submitting for a pre-consultation assessment. This video webinar is going to walk through the application submission process for pre-consultation assessments, otherwise known as PCAs, within the ACO DS. It will equip users with the knowledge and confidence to effectively submit applications. This webinar provides a step-by-step demonstration of each screen, showing users how to create, navigate, and complete the PCA submission. Users will gain a comprehensive understanding of the features and functionalities as well as information required during each step of the process. We would like to point out that although a brief example will be given showing what to do and how to select the appropriate information relating to the example that is shown, you should always refer to the proponent guide for a fulsome explanation of all requirements for PCA submissions relating to your project and for the delegated aspects of consultation that you are responsible for. In relation to the proponent guide, you will find that Section 1.1, Table 1, outlines the requirements of the PCA submission and information needed to proceed towards an adequacy assessment. Section 1.6, Figures 2, 3, and 4 illustrate the varying timeline requirements for the different aspects of delegated consultation according to their levels. And Section 2 speaks in depth as to documentation and other related standards which you will need to provide in order to move forward in an adequacy assessment submission. Although this video is meant to show you a basic overview and progression of how to submit a PCA in the ACO DS, please be sure to always refer to the proponent guide for the requirements for your specific submission. With that said, let's look at the ACO DS dashboard and begin a pre-consultation assessment together.
Here we are at the Active Consultation dashboard, ready to create a new pre-consultation assessment application, or known as a PCA. You will click on the Create New PCA button. You will notice that we have a left navigation tree and a right navigation tree. We will give a more detailed explanation of these areas once we have gone through creating and submitting a PCA file. One thing to note throughout each of these pages, you will find hyperlinks. There are two ways to access your hyperlinks. If you click on the actual hyperlink, it will download to your computer. Or if you see these little squares, you can click on it and it will open it into a new window for you. You can see that we have lots of resources for you. We have our policies, our guidelines, and access to approvals and authorizations. For each area that you need to fill in, please refer to the proponent guide for a detailed explanation. In addition, we do have a descriptor that's added to each screen to assist you throughout this application process. When you are selecting the project name, you can select an existing project name or you can create a new one. In this example, we are going to create a new one. Under the project description, a detailed project description and supporting information needs to be included to provide the reviewer with a clear understanding of the project. It is also important to provide details of any previous consultations, including related file numbers for consultation, also known as FNCs, and relevant dispositions or other information as applicable. For renewals amendments, describe any changes proposed under the approvals, even if the change is very small. For the expected duration, you will have the options of days, weeks, months, or years. For this example, we are going to select 25 years. You will then be asked to select a regulator from the drop-down list. Each regulator will have corresponding disposition codes that you will select on the following screens. For this example, we are going to select the AER regulator. You will be required to answer whether you have a buffer for your project or not. If you select yes, you have the option of providing a descriptor of your buffer. In this instance, we are going to identify that we have a 30-meter buffer, and it is for a well pad site. Next, you'll be asked if there is any construction for this project. If you answer yes, you'll be asked again to provide the duration of the constructions. It can be done in days, weeks, months, or years. For this example, we are going to do 6 months. It is important to note that construction is not in addition to the project duration. It is inclusive of the project duration. Next, we're going to upload a supporting file. There are 2 ways to upload files. You can click to upload, or you can drag and drop. In this example, we will click to upload. You will select your applicable document, and you will open it. The other option you have is to drag and drop. If you made a mistake on a file and you were not meant to upload it, you can simply remove your file. It is also important that you save your draft throughout your application process in case something happens with your browser. We will click on Save Draft to do that. We will now click Next to proceed. As you can see, we have missed an important step. We have forgotten to upload the supporting files. Anytime you have missed a step on a screen, you will notice a red box in the area that is affected, and you'll be given a descriptor of what you need to do. In this instance, we have forgotten to upload a shapefile, map, or survey plan. Again, you can click to upload, or you can drag and drop. Even when you click to upload, you can select multiple files at the same time to do this. Once you have fixed your error, you will note that there are no red boxes, and you can now proceed to the next screen.
Once you're on the next page, you're going to see activity information. There's going to be an FNC with some asterisks here, -1, the dash indicating that this is the first activity. There's no FNC number in there as of yet, as this will auto-generate once you have completed your application. Below this, we can see the regulator, which you have already selected, and it's going to ask you for a site name. So this is an indicator for you of what will help you identify what this activity is. I'm just going to put down single well site example. The next field we have is the disposition type, and I know that a single well site is under the disposition of MSL. The next field is amendment or renewal. If we select no, nothing happens, and we'll go right to our purpose type. If we select yes, it's going to ask us to describe the type of amendment or renewal that it is. What's happening? Is there new disturbance? Has anything changed? Any information that can help the reviewer to understand what is happening will be greatly appreciated in here. After that, you can come down to previous authorization number. If there is a related FNC, it should go in there. Also, if there is a related disposition number of any type, if you can add that information in and give a descriptor under the describe the type of amendment or renewal. And that'll leave us back to purpose type. In this case, we're just going to select no, because this is a new single well site. The purpose type of this, as I said, being a single well site, I'm going to come down, I'm going to select that in my drop down under here, well site production, SW for single well site. Now we have the activity with area, length, and if you click on one, you're going to see area defaults to hectares, length to kilometers. In this case, we're going to have a well site, and it's going to take up 1.2 hectares. This well site is going to be located in the ATS Legals Section 30, in Township 30, Rangeline 30, west of the 5th Meridian. And it's going to be in the exact same location, or the 2 location as well. These from and 2 points represent any 2 opposing diagonal corners of the project location. They will form a rectangle or a square no matter if you have selected location points from the top down to the bottom or from the bottom down to the top, starting left or right. Meaning it doesn't matter which side or corner you start from, as long as the opposing opposite corner is referenced afterwards. And as long as the end result forms a box that encompasses the entirety of the project area, including the full buffer area as well if it is applicable. For more information about entering ATS legals, you can refer to the Proponent Guide, Section 1.2, or Appendix C for more information and details. And now, in continuing on with our project submission, next we have the Notes section. And under here, if you have any other information that is pertinent to this application, if it relates to connections, to staging areas, how the area is divided, other activities which the reviewer may need to consider, it should be included here. At this point, you could save your draft or continue on, but we're going to add an activity. For this project, we're going to also add a connecting road because we need to access that well site. So I'm going to put in an access road example under my site name, and I know the disposition for that is an LOC. Again, this is a new site and a new road, so there are no amendments or renewals required. And the purpose type I'm going to select as a Class 3, all-weather or dry road. Again, we have the activity size, and we have area or length that we can select. I want to select length, and I'm going to put in the length of my road as 0.8 kilometers. And then I could, at this point, proceed to fill in my ATS legals down here, or if this is in the exact same area as Activity 1, as shown here, I can simply go over to Select to Copy. If I click on that, it will backfill all the information from the above related activity. Do notice, however, that the above activity was in hectares, not in length, and it changed that information. So I would have to make sure after selecting Copy To that I go back and choose the length and put it back in as 0.8. Again, we have at the bottom our notes section, and in here, if there is anything that's pertinent, we want to add it in. So in this case, this is an access road that's going to go from the existing range road number 28-1A to the new site. And if there's anything else that's pertinent that concerns this activity here that the reviewer may need to consider, please ensure that you have added it in. I don't have any further activities to add to this project, so I can either save my draft to ensure that all my information is in place if I need to move on and further consider other documentation or information, mapping, plans, etc. Or I can proceed forward, which I'm going to do right now. On this screen, we are simply asked, are there any previous or related consultations for this project? If you say no, you can simply move forward. If you say yes, then we need to know, were there any related FNCs? And if so, we need information as to that. This means, was there consultation that had already happened? Have you already been through the process? How long ago was it? Were there dispositions that were relating to this project? Any pertinent information whatsoever needs to go in here, as well as any documentation that you might have. If you had already previously sent plans or had a information package sent out to a community, anything like that, you'd put that information into here so we can have a fulsome understanding of what has happened previously. Also, there are instances where you may have gone through an application process and chose to hold on to moving forward at a previous time, but all the information was already considered and reviewed by the ACO and other such considerations. So anything that you can add into here, if we have already reviewed something, or if there's already been consultation, or if there is something else that has happened in the area, perhaps there is other constructions or other projects that are happening in the area that may eventually connect together, please allow us to know so that we can have that fulsome understanding. In this case, I'm going to select No because this is a new site, a new road, and we're going to go on to Next. And now we're on a summary screen. You can see all of your project information. All the information that you have inputted as to your project is listed here. All the files that you have submitted are listed here as well. If you want to click on them to see that they are correct, your activity information is all listed. At this point, you should go through and ensure that all the information that you see is correct, that there are no mistakes, administrative errors, and check your ATS legals. And at that point, you can save your draft and come back to it another time, or perhaps add more information later, or you can submit your pre-consultation assessment. There is one other thing that you can do as well. For example, let's say that when I was looking at my activity information, I noticed that I put in Northeast 30 to Northeast 30 for my access road. In reality, it's going to go from Northeast 30 to Southwest 31, and I need to update that. Instead of having to go back through the screens continually to get to the correct information, you can simply click on this pencil icon. It'll bring you to the activities. And as I said, in this case, I'm looking at the access road. And I had put in the wrong ATS legals, and I want to quickly just correct that. So I'm going to put in the Southwest to 31. I can go to the bottom and go next through the screens continually, or I can go to Return to Summary, in which case I'll be able to come back, double check all my information is correct, and see that, yes, my ATS has been updated. And now I'm ready to submit my pre-consultation assessment. I just have to click on that button and then once again confirm. And now, if I scroll to the bottom of the page, I can see that not only has my file been submitted, but at this point, the information related to this file has backfilled here. There's information that is filled in on the left and the right column, which my colleague Lisa is going to explain to you in just a minute, and the FNC number has been assigned. If I go to the bottom of the page, I can choose to recall this. I can go back to the dashboard, or I can choose to click on PDF document should I wish to open and view this application or download it myself. If I click open, you'll see that it gives you all the information like this should you wish to keep it for your records. And if we go back to the dashboard, we're going to be back at our home page with this FNC number that has been generated for us. Now to speak a little more about what has been filled in on both sides of the middle column, I'm going to turn over to Lisa.
Like Mikkel had already stated, once you have submitted your application, you will see that there is a notice here that your pre-consultation assessment request has been submitted. Not only do you have that notification here, the information in your top banner has been populated with the applicable information from the submission of your PCA. You will see that your proponent name is filled in, the region that this project falls under is filled in, your status will be changed as your application proceeds through its various levels, and you will see that you have the date that your application was submitted. Once ACO staff have reviewed and made a decision or a recommendation on your file, that date will also be populated in the gray banner. On the left navigation tree, you will see that your PCA is in progress. Once staff have completed the review on the PCA application, this will change to completed. On the right, you will see that we have a Documents tab, and we now have a Contacts tab. In the Documents tab, you will see that has been populated with the documents that you submitted in your pre-consultation assessment. In the Contacts tab, we have your community contacts, your proponent contacts, and your ACO contacts. Right now, we only have the PCA contact that submitted the PCA request. Once the ACO staff have completed their assessment and have determined if consultation is required, the community contacts will be populated in this section. In addition, the ACO staff that has made the decision or recommendation on the application will be filled in under the PCA decision. If you have questions following the application review, you can contact the ACO staff member that is auto-populated in this section. And as a reminder to proponents, as per the proponent guide, documentation that is submitted to the ACO is to be in PDF format. Once you are done reviewing the information that is here, you can simply click Back to Dashboard. As you can see on the dashboard, we now have the FNC number populated and the status has been changed to PCA submitted. Thank you for listening to the recording of creating and submitting a PCA application.